Welcome to When Elderly Caregiving Upends Your Life, What's Next? It's a YouTube series based on our super popular webinars. Whether you're new to caregiving or deep in the journey, this is the place for you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch the latest episodes when they drop. And like these videos and share with your friends. Thanks, and let's get started. So let's take a moment and really look at informal caregivers. So you're going, what's an informal caregiver and who is and how do I get there? It basically you become an informal caregiver when it upends your life and you end up being the unpaid care provider. Here's the formal definition of an unpaid caregiver. And I want you to know as we go through this conversation, I may use informal and family caregiver interchangeably, but they're basically the same thing. And also, when I'm talking about a loved one, depending on your case, it may be a spouse, a parent, a relative, or even a friend and neighbor. So, all of those things, if you're supporting someone, when I say those terms, know that I'm talking about you, and hopefully that means I'm picking up most everyone on the calls. So let's talk about what's a family caregiver profile. So according to AARP, in 2021, there were 38 million informal, so unpaid caregivers in the United States, taking care of 88 million older adults. And the value of that care was estimated at $600 billion based on an average hourly rate of $16.59, which for some of you on the call, I'm sure your hourly rate may be a little higher than that. So the $600 million number is probably an underestimate. The other important thing to know about the $600 billion is that that number dwarfs the amount that Medicare and Medicaid spend on nursing homes and home care in this country. So caring for our elderly is a huge financial burden. A couple other things about informal caregivers. Their average age is 49.4 years old, which means many of them are in their prime income earning years when they have to take on informal caregiving. And the important thing to know is a lot of times we don't get a vote. All of a sudden something happens and you're thrown into this role. Second, the average amount of time an informal caregiver spends a week in their caregiving duties is 18 hours, which, as many of you would imagine, if you have a 40 or 60-hour week, adding 18 more hours on top of that is quite a burden. And the average duration of a senior caregiving journey is 4.5 years, which, if you remember my story and you go back through all the dates, you'll see that's about how long it took me to go through my process. The other big challenge is 75, depending on the estimates, 60 to 70% of informal caregivers work full or part-time jobs. And lastly, not surprisingly, 6 out of 10 are women, but it's also important to note that a lot of men are also taking on informal caregiving role. I love this chart because as a member of a sandwich generation, I think it gives you a great perspective. So let me just kind of walk you through it. So the blue and green line shows that from 2010 through 2060, the projected number of working age adults that will be caring for someone 65 or older is going to rise from 21% of the population to 41% of the population. At the same time, those caring for children is going to decline, is going to hold steady, but declines slightly from 38 to 35%. One last area I want to share with you is elderly caregiving has a lot of challenges. Let's just talk quickly about the physical challenges. There's a lot of lifting and maneuvering your loved one as they lose their mobility that can often lead to some sort of injury, pulled shoulder, back strain, things like that. Then there's also just exhaustion from the round the clock responsibilities, as well as fatigue and sleep disturbances. And lastly, it's not uncommon for an elderly caregiver to be neglecting their personal health by skipping medical appointments, having trouble balancing their diet, or getting enough exercise. On the emotional side, this role puts a lot of strain on your ongoing relationships outside of that with your elderly loved one, as well as you will probably experience some level of lost income or retirement savings, as well as picking up expenses for that loved one. There's also the stress and anxiety where there are days when you just don't know if you can make it through, or you're fearful that you might be making mistakes in their care. And lastly, there's social isolation. You're so busy caring for your loved one that your networks and support systems begin to fall away. So I hope I was able to hit on kind of the challenges for each of you and just let you know, like, if you're feeling any of those things or experiencing any of those things, you're not alone, and that's not uncommon. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and catch us in the next episode.